What am I to do when the day is through?
Hi, welcome to a very special episode of He Said, She Said with Michael and Jackie. It's like an after school special, Michael. It's a very special episode.
It's I don't even know what to say to that. Um, all right. When we don't have a guest, we squander. We
No,
just
we don't
spiral.
squander. You mean we spiral,
We
and
spiral.
we're not. I told you I have a list of things to talk about. You did not come prepared. That's the challenge.
I have things, but tell me your
Tell me,
things.
tell me what your things are.
I have things. Let me see if they're you first.
No, no. You've made a bold claim that you have things. I am fascinated to know what your things are.
Tell me. Well, I have
No.
this one. Like, there's this thing people think, if they build it, they will come.
Oh,
And
so you're telling me the thing I just told you before we started recording? Nice
maybe.
try. I will totally call you out on it, buddy. No, if you legit have something, share it, please.
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, then let's talk about my things. Um, yes, Michael, there is a if we build it, they will come mentality right now. And I think that it seems to be permeating. Uh, there's no geographical boundary to it, there's no size, small business, mid major enterprise model, there's industry crossover. It is pervasive that we've built this really great company, we have this really awesome product or service or thing we do, and that's enough. And I think that there is not enough consideration made to how complicated people's lives are, how busy people are, how much more insulated we've become, because we have to block out all the noise and the chaos and the fear. I mean, there's always that. And so, no, you can build the greatest thing in the world. There's no promise anybody's going to know about it unless you are actively and properly spreading the good word.
Well, let's be honest though. I mean, has that really changed? I mean, that's you could have the same talk 20 years ago. Yes, it's more complicated now and there's more stuff going on, but we've had this same conversation over and over again from the very beginning. It's new world, new dynamics, new media, new opportunities and all that, but it's the same basic problem, right?
Yeah, no, it's always been. It's worse now. It's worse now. I mean, just think back, 150 years when soap was invented, people smelled bad, germs pervasive, soap exists. You didn't have to do a lot of hard selling. You were the only soap you got bought. Now you had to do some educating to people on why they needed soap, but you didn't have competition. Go on the soap aisle now. And so then I think that for a lot of companies, because we work with so many people in the B2B space, they think that's a B2C problem. The businesses that make products and services for consumers in the retail space for mass consumption, that's their challenge. Tennis shoes, software, burgers. But over here, I make a very specialized widget for a very specialized niche. So that's not my problem. Oh no, my friend, it is everyone's problem.
But do you think now too? I think what I'm seeing more and more is that people are overly dependent on social media to do the job of marketing.
Yes.
And they feel like, what? I could just go on social media. It's free, right? I can just, and they're wondering why they aren't getting the results from that. How come I'm getting more of this and more of that? Well, it's because you're selling on a social platform, and that's hard to do. It's
Right.
hard to do. Now you can build your brand on a social platform, but you're not selling on a social platform. There's a big difference, I think.
Right.
And the latter, building your brand through social media is effective, but it takes time. You have to nurture it. You have to be really helpful and useful in people's worlds. But if you're just out there throwing out, I'm selling something, come pay attention to me, especially in the B2B space, it's not going to
Yes.
work very well, I think.
Agree.
So, I think people are crutches on that. And you have to spend money, you have to get out there, you have to get your message in front of new people. I think a lot of times what I'm seeing a lot is people, they're talking to the choir. If you have a certain amount of followers and you're saying the same thing over and over again to them, they've already bought into you or they're already aware of you,
Hmm.
but you're not getting new adopters. You're not bringing new people into the tribe. You're not, opening up new doors, new opportunities because you're just sitting on my couple of thousand to 10,000 likes and people that follow me.
Right. Oh, and to that point, I think you make a great point. I also think that most people do not have enough awareness. And so we're very grateful that we've got team members who are Meta certified and have gone through all the trainings. And so they really get a lot of intel and inside information from the platforms because, you may have 500 followers, 1,000 followers, 5,000 followers. They are not all seeing what you post. The algorithm is capping it at about 10%. So you've worked real hard to get 5,000 followers at best on a good day with some really solid content. 500 people are going to have the opportunity to see it. Doesn't mean guarantee that they will.
Well, and it's all, look, it's people are still, for the past 15 years, people have been struggling to get a handle on, some people call themselves experts and some people are better at it than others. But the way social media is constantly changing and evolving, it's constantly changing and evolving. We have to constantly adapt to those things, right? And I think, I'm getting a lot of engagement, so that's good. Okay, well, let's judge that engagement. That's great. But for example, you have a dog day and you post pictures of cute dogs, you're going to get more engagement. People are going to like cute things and they're going to like funny things.
Well, that's social right there. That's good social media content.
But does that sell product?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you have a spike, because you're chasing after likes now. You're chasing after making myself feel good. Like it reminds me of the story of the guy that put the billboard on the highway by his office. And you're like,
Right.
your people aren't there. They aren't, this is a waste of money, but he needed to see it, right? And I think for a lot of business owners, it's like I need to see it, and I understand it. I can look on everybody knows Facebook and LinkedIn. I can go in there and see how many people like me and how many people are liking my post. And I'm not saying that's not important. It is, and it is a valuable part of the ecosystem of branding and marketing. But at the same time, it can be false leads, right? It can lead you down the wrong path. Like, oh my God, look at what's happening, or look at what's not happening, and there is still something going on. So it takes a lot of patience, understanding, and not just knee-jerk reactions to really use it the right way. I don't know if that made any sense. I feel like I'm rambling, but
There's a little ramble in there, but I thought your point was very solid. And I know as formerly being on the client side, I was an actual in-house marketing director and VP of marketing for years. And being a certified media buyer, I've sat in all the different seats. And to your point, I think even the biggest challenge now is people need a silver bullet, and they have a very hard time believing that there isn't one. And so they want to believe that social media is that silver bullet without doing the real work that it takes to put a real, true, strategic, proactive plan in place that can effectively change the conversation.
and more than anything, you can have many plans, but if you don't follow the plan, if you don't actually
But
buy
it's got to
into it,
start with the plan. And all
yeah.
too often, people get caught up in tactics. I'm going to do social media. I'm going to check that box. I'm going to move on. And they just don't even notice how noisy it is out there, how much clutter there is, and their message is not cutting through the clutter. Which takes us to the second thing I have on my agenda for today, because I did my homework and prepared for this. The second thing is you and I were recently traveling and came upon a business that we both were very impressed with their overall branding, their vibe. They had a unique position. They had clever names of their products. They were a well-appointed interior. They checked all the boxes, right? They did all the things right. And so it led us to a conversation about why businesses fail. And this again transcends geography and industry and size. When you don't do the work to maintain your physical space, people assume that you don't care, you're going out of business, something's wrong, because they can tell when the paint is peeling, when the parking lot looks wrong, when the facade, when the website hasn't been updated, whatever it might be. Same thing with all of your branding elements. If you've let some things go astray, whether you're brand new or 20 years old, if you're not spending the time and energy and resources to invest in how you appear, it's not going to go well for you.
Well, we talk about touch points, and that's
Yep.
something that we really believe in, and because there's a lot of them. And I remember a long while back, we were doing work for a downtown organization, and they had a music festival that they put on, and that was one of their touch points. And it was a pro and a negative touch point. Pro because it was public and people could go to it, and it was fun, and everybody gave downtown credit for it. But the negative, and you brought this up, was what if it rains? And when it rains, people are looking forward to it. Now they can't go. They've maybe spent money on it, that bummed out, or maybe it rains in the middle. They have to go home. They feel like they're shortchanged. Who carries the bag for that? Downtown, the group that runs it, the group that sponsored it. They're mad. Now it's impossible to blame them for that, but you still get a hit for it, right? So it's things, basically the point is you can't control that touch point. So there's so many uncontrollable touch points out there. So we have to have twice as many positive touch points that counteract the negative ones, right? So for every bad touch point, you need three to make it okay, to get somebody off the fence, to make them not go and start hating you or talking bad about you and spiraling into something negative. So, it's everything from, you're right, the signage, the building, how you answer the phone, how you address things. And it goes into service and all these other things. But those are, what do you call them in sports? It's always talk about the immeasurables. What is the right using that word? Like when they have a quarterback and they're like intangibles. It's an
Yes.
intangible,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Sorry.
You got the
But
body.
yes, it's an intangible. It's a thing that you don't think about, but it's so important. And it's that underlying character, that underlying thing that can make or break you long term. It's the things that if you're so worried about this that you're not thinking about that,
Yep.
that will come back to bite you.
Bite you on the ass. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Everybody would know seems like common sense, but it happens. So like we went to a restaurant the other night, and restaurants are so easy to pick on because it's tough, tough
I
business.
know
But
exactly where you're going with this.
well, yeah, but it was just like, and it's funny because you got mad at me for being, I wasn't mad at the person, but it was like, it took a long, like we were the only ones in this place. And it took a
Yes.
long time to get the food
Yes.
and that was fine. Whatever. We weren't to be hurt or anything. But finally and we see our food up in the window now. So now it's like, okay, what's going on? She's in the back somewhere. She finally comes up, she brings it to us. And it was like, I asked her, I said, does it normally take this long? She's like, oh, well, they had to melt the cheese was her definition of that. I was like, come on. I was like, that's insane. Like that is not a reasonable excuse for something,
Right.
And in the service industry where and again, I'm not being overly impatient or anything, but it was just bad. It was bad. But
Okay.
they had no management there.
But
They had nobody else to talk
let's
to.
for the record, you are often overly patient, but in this situation, you were justified.
No, yes, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Um,
and but see, you gave me a hard time about that. But the other day, who did you hang up? Like you were on the phone
well,
with
I was just
somebody.
about to tell that story. I didn't hang up on them, but it's about customer
Well, you didn't hang
service.
up, but you went off on them because
I
you
didn't
were
go off on
incensed
them.
by
I
Jackie.
I called a business that we have done business with quite often.
Okay, you didn't go off
Um,
on him. You read her you defined for her what you were like calling
I
her out.
provided some education. I provided some valuable education, Michael,
Yeah, that's what it was.
because obviously no one had provided her with some customer service training, and so I was helping her get up to speed on it. The thing is though, the grievances that we have, and I don't want to turn this into some sort of like a bitch session, but the grievances, whether it's a business that does not look like they are inviting, a business that actually doesn't invite people in, a business that provides poor service once you're in the door, or a business that doesn't train people on how to answer the phone, ask questions, answer questions, and get the business. All of those are opportunities missed. You've watched me develop and you've given some great input into the Growth X Academy. And it is based on these 7 pillars of business because I think that so many of us are in some ways accidental entrepreneurs. Either I see HR people promoted up to the C suite, they didn't go to business school. I see founders who build and build and build and grow and grow and grow. They don't have business backgrounds. And all of a sudden, you're supposed to, build out a program that really matches everything about leadership, about operations, about finance, about marketing, about sales, about service, and about talent. The recruitment and retention of your team. Those 7 pillars are crucial to the successful operation. Any one of those is off, and it doesn't matter how great the others are, you're going to get found out.
Yeah. 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 And it's easy to, just think of it as you're talking, it's easy to backseat drive a business, like it's easy to look at a business from the outside and point out
Sure.
the things that are wrong or not being done right. Being in the middle of it is hard. Being at the top of it's hard. You're trying to do your
Yes.
job and everybody else's job and manage it and lead it and all these different things. And the bigger they are, the harder it gets. And I totally understand that. And again, it's easy to backseat drive it, but at the same time, that's why you have people that you trust help you with those things. Like you have the right people in your corner and the right advisors and the right people that you can talk to, whether you belong to organizations, you seek out help, you have agency support, whatever it may be. Finding people that you trust and that you can lean on for those things helps you hold the mirror up sometimes and helps you point out the things that need to be looked at a little more carefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But they're all crucial. And so it really does transcend size and industry and geography because at the end of the day, everybody in the organization is responsible for building the brand of that organization. It's not just the marketing director.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I mean, I talked to you about that. It was like, how do you make people care, as much as you want them to care or as much as you care? And your response was nobody's ever going to care as much as you do. And
Stand by it.
that's fair, but you also want ownership. You also want people invested. You also want people to have, because like for me, if my name wasn't on the door, I would still, because that's the way I am. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a great person or anything, but I work hard and I put my name behind what I do. And that's always going to be the case. If I'm going to raise my kids that way, it's the way I was raised. My dad would always say, how you cut the grass. It says about how you do something, how you finish it, how you clean up after yourself, how you represent yourself, all those things. And that should matter, but it seems like it doesn't always. It's more, I did what I had to do and that was enough. But when it comes to, your customer service, requirement, like we had a kickoff call the other day with a client and that's what they said. We have great service. And they admitted the fact that everybody says they have great service and they're in a service industry and they have no real differentiation, no real way to differentiate themselves. And we're trying to work on that for them as we dig deeper into it through our process, the Razor branding assessment. And through that process, we hopefully will figure that out. I know we will because we do that. But the thing is, it's there. They just don't know what it is, or they don't know how to say it yet, or they don't know what that one thing is that's going to propel them and that they can all rally behind and believe in as they kind of like you said, represent the brand to their customers.
Yep. First of all, having known you when you were an employee in 2 different companies and heard stories about your employment pre-knowing you, I think your work ethic and loyalty and commitment and willingness to go above and beyond is one of your best qualities, and it's one of the reasons why I married you.
I so thought you were going to slam me for something. You were going to say, having known you, I'm
No,
glad it was positive.
I was paying you a compliment,
I
a
appreciate it.
well-earned, I think,
Thank you.
well-deserved compliment.
Thank you.
And to that end, there's a chicken or an egg conversation happening here. Is it the company's responsibility to recruit and retain people who have that level of work ethic and commitment and loyalty? And so if you haven't recruited, trained, and retained them, that's on you. And if the employee isn't a good fit and there's no way to inspire them and train them into being a good fit, why are they still there?
Yeah, and that's become more really in the past many years. We talk about that more and more and more. And as a branding agency, advertising agency, marketing agency, sometimes it's not about the spend, and it's not about the marketing, and it's not about those things. It's about looking inside and figuring out how do I get my team right? How do I get us functioning right? Because if that doesn't work, nothing else does. You can put a shine on anything, and if you don't have the right engine in it, it's not going to get where you need to go.
So you're going to hate this, but I'm going to go back to this book that we've talked about often, which is The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And so it takes the 5 love languages, which is how people in relationships relate to each other, and it turns it into work connections and how people will feel connected. And so, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, tangible gifts, physical touch, it reinforces that not everyone feels rewarded in the same way. Not everyone feels encouraged in the same way. And so if you think that handing out a certificate or a pizza party is enough to make someone feel like they're a part of your team, they're not going to be a part of your team for very long.
Yeah.
And so I always feel like when I hear a manager tell me, well, my employees don't give a shit, they're not working hard enough, I think, well, what have you done for them today to make them want to be here? That's a manager's job. That's a leader's job, is to lead them into that.
Yeah, and the devil's advocate of that, somebody
Sure.
could easily say, I mean, I don't believe this, but not entirely, but you say that's what I pay you for. There's a great scene from Mad Men where
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna have to send the link when we put this up, but it's one of my favorite scenes. But
Yes.
what's her name? The copywriter?
Peggy.
Peggy comes in the office and she's like, "You don't appreciate me. You don't thank me. You don't, I gave you all these great ideas." And he's like, "That's what I pay you for." And Don Draper drops
He says that's what the
the mic.
money's for.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, they're both right.
Yes.
They're
In
both right.
1968, that was a good enough answer. And
Yeah.
it's supply and demand, Michael. When the job market is hard for employers, they have to give more to get employees. When the job market is hard for employees, they have to give more to stay employed. It's supply and demand. And so a good company, though, is always going out of its way to create an environment that encourages loyalty, that develops loyalty, that rewards loyalty. And loyalty, not just that they stay, but that they're working a little harder, they're caring a little more, they're doing a little more. Uh, But that's the
Yeah.
age old question.
Yeah.
And it factors into building a brand because it doesn't matter what message the agency puts out there if it's not real, rooted in authentic, actual points of differentiation and actual understanding of what the experience is going to be, then that message isn't going to land because it's not real.
Yep.
And that's why marketing needs everything else. Those other six pillars have to be working right for there to be a good message to use for a megaphone.
And that's what it's been, the evolution of our industry and our agency in particular. Because I mean, when we started out, we were like every other agency. We did TV, news, radio, print, it was whatever. Okay, you need a TV commercial, you need a brochure, you need a radio spot, you need collateral. Let's move forward. And you do those things. And we had a filing cabinet full of print materials that was,
You're so
evidence of it.
sad about that. You got to let that go.
I am. It was a
But
lot
you
of,
got to let it go.
yeah. But
We're done
anyway,
killing trees. Everything's digital now, buddy.
yeah. But
It's
it was
okay.
that mainstayed, and it was tangible, and people needed those things, but it's changed so much. And yeah, it's just a different world. And like all the things you talk about, it's it's not just about running ads, it's not what we do. And we've had to evolve into that world where if you were still doing that, I mean, and I think people are still doing that, and that's still
Yes,
getting done. But
badly.
it's just pushing things out in the world. It's like more noise. It's more noise. It's more noise. It's more noise.
Yes.
And cutting through all that is just harder and harder.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why it's so important to really know who your target audience is, what their problems actually are that you solve, why you're the right choice for them, as opposed to the other options, competitors, apathy, whatever. What message is really going to resonate with each of those target audiences, and where those messages need to go so your target audience can see it enough times that they will take action on it.
So what do you say when someone comes to you and they're like, okay, so what are you going to do for me? And how can you guarantee it's going to work? What's the answer?
Well, it's a great question. Usually it involves like a song and a dance, maybe dinner and a movie. No, all seriousness, I think that the answer changes based on the client, and here's why. When a client really has their act together and knows what they're doing and how they're doing it, and it is strictly a matter of putting the right message out there to cut through the clutter and get attention, then we could talk about results right at the beginning. We could talk about how, having a strategic, proactive plan and a really talented fractional marketing team to implement that plan means we're going to start seeing a return on investment within months. That is a little contingent on their industry and their current market share. But the gist is you're going to feel an impact right away. When the client has ignored their audience, annoyed their audience, doesn't know their audience, hasn't connected with their audience, and has pretended to be one thing when they're actually another for all these years, it's going to take a little bit longer. But the reason why I know we're going to be able to get results for them is the average agency client relationship is 18 months right now, and ours is 6.5 years. And that doesn't, on a 30-day out clause, no contracts binding a client to us, that doesn't happen on a whim. That happens when every month, month in, month out, we're able to earn our keep. Those are the results that I think really matter. So yeah, so I can talk about clients where we were hired and we came in and we fixed their media spend and saved them $150,000 in the first 6 months. I don't mean reinvested it. I mean saved it. It was being wasted. We could talk about the client where we were able to get 18% growth in the first year. We could talk about the client that needed us to make them look right so they could go to market because they wanted to be sold. They had an offer they thought was lowball. And their CPA actually said, get your marketing right and you can get more money. And that's exactly what happened. And then when the offer came back 2 years later, it was 6 times bigger than it had been before. And so, smart marketing has immeasurable payoffs. It's really about what problem are we solving today? Is it internal, getting people on board, making your believers be outspoken in their belief? Is it external, making sure that you now have a really clear line to your next wave of business? Is it to your investors? Is it to your potential buyers? There are all kinds of options of where that ROI is going to show up. But at the end of the day, the one thing I know for sure is continuing to be tactically focused, doing it yourself with your 1.5 person marketing department and not appreciating the value of investing in your marketing means that you're heading on the wrong side of growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. Sounds really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
The hard part, I guess, from all that is avoiding getting in the rut of the day to day because I think everybody gets so busy. And if you have a small department and you're just worried about getting the news out for the day and what's going on next week and all, it's a lot, right? Even our agency is not giant, but we have a pretty nice sized team compared to most in-house places. And
Yep.
and even with that support, it gets taxing because you get in the weeds of survival really marketing mode versus progressively moving forward. And that we could put together that's what I was saying earlier. You can have all the plans in the world, but you have to follow it. You have to finally implement it. You have to say yes to things more than no. You have to actually open the book and read it and not just say, oh, that's nice. We did a report.
But that's the thing, Michael. When we used to just do plans for people and hand them over like an architect's blueprint and let them go hire a construction company to implement the plan, it didn't work out so well. Once it was our team that came in to do their fractional marketing, all of a sudden we started to see real results, like real results. And what I find over and over again is that our clients have some of the same challenges. The in-house team is too taxed, too small, too under-talented. The people there are very talented, but it takes a team of 10 different talents because graphic design is not the same talent as copywriting. Research is not the same talent as strategy. Social media is not the same talent as PR, videography is not the same talent as, you see what I'm saying? And so
Mhm.
you got to have 10 talents to really do marketing right these days.
Well, and one of the yeah, like marketing directors, especially when they were replaced and they come in, a lot of times I think if any marketing director is listening, I think my advice to them is to you may want to have your own team in there at some point, and you may clean house, and you may say, I like my agency or my group or whatever, and that's totally fine. But if you go in there and you start not listening and throwing your own weight into in a corner, all of a sudden you're like, why is the agency even there? Like you're discounting all the work that's been done all the time. Basically, there has to be a trust in that relationship, right? And for all the good that can be done, it can be dismantled pretty heavily if you don't have the right trust in that relationship.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's kind of what I was leaning towards is, you've got an understaffed marketing team. You've got silos between marketing and sales. That's always a hindrance. You've got outdated materials. The company has evolved and grown. The audience they had 10 years ago, the customer of last decade is not the customer of this decade. The company has continued to add new products, new services, but the marketing hasn't kept up with it. And so all of those challenges that we see every day, and you've got to do more with less money, more tactics, more output, more effort, and you can't go hire 10 new people to join the marketing team. So, every client is a unicorn with the exact same problems. It's a herd of unicorns out there where they're all confronted and challenged with the same issues. And so it's really about finding a partner you can trust, a proactive strategic approach, and the talent to leverage that strategy to get some real success.
I guess that's what I was trying to say, and I don't know if I said it properly,
Well, I think
but
what I just said
you
was
know,
better than what you just said, but go ahead.
it was great. It was great. But
Thanks.
just my point was is that I guess my own frustration with it. I don't understand why you would hire an agency and to just have them, and that happens. I mean, be order takers basically, and not listen to the voices in the room. And we've had that role, and but then you're just like, that's frustrating to me. It's like I'd rather there be a communication partnership
Well,
of
I think that happens
ideas.
for us at least, that happens very rarely.
No, it
I think,
does. It
I
does.
think
But
because we show up and we provide a strategic, proactive approach, because we are very results oriented, because we are incredibly focused on the return on investment, I don't think we get pigeonholed into that order taker role very often. And when we do,
we
we
fight
work
back. I
really,
mean, I say we
I
fight
don't,
back.
we don't,
That sounds bad. We don't fight back. We try to convey our opinions the best we can. I don't know how to say this the right way. See, this is where you should let me out in public
I
because
agree
I am.
completely, and we are just going to change the subject. I need to direct you better. I need to put up some guardrails. Where's your shiny orange vest so that the people know that you're coming? Really,
Yeah,
let's talk about the positive things.
I am. I
No,
am.
if that was your version of positive things, we're going to have to talk about that definition on the way to dinner because
I am. I own the creative side. It's hard to step away from that because when you're invested in it and you want things to go a certain way and you have a plan, you're trying to follow that plan. You want partnership with that.
yes, yes, and I think that you and our creative team do a great job of helping clients because sometimes they get off the path. And I think y'all do a great job of helping them get back on the path because our job is creating campaigns and making sure that those campaigns work. And that's it. And so when we all stay focused on that goal, we're going to get there.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we
Thanks for the
will.
pep talk.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. So, one of the things that I like about all the traveling that we've been doing the past couple of years, it's great to get out into the field and go visit clients. That's always nice. But it's also inspirational to go into other markets and see marketing that we don't get exposed to on a regular basis. I find sometimes that our habits, whether it's where we drive, the radio stations we listen to, the TV shows we watch, the podcasts we subscribe to, the algorithm serves up this just a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's when you only hear the things you already believe, what's that called? Echo chamber. The whole world has really, in a lot of ways, become an echo chamber. And so I think that by travel, mostly for work, but even sometimes for play, we are able to get out of the echo chamber and get exposed to other things, other markets. I know every time I go to a conference and I get to travel across the country, I am invigorated by not just the feedback I get from my talk, but the other talks that I attend and the lessons that I get to learn. And it makes me a better marketer. And so I think that's one of the things that in-house marketing directors, to your point, get challenged with is they get so locked into the thousand things they're doing for their one client, their boss, the company where they work in-house, that they don't get that outside stimulation, outside resource, outside inspiration. And they end up just being circulators. And so I think it's great when you can import new ideas. And I think that's what the agency should be doing.
Absolutely. I wasn't ignoring you. I was looking through
Oh,
my.
we can see the phone in the camera, so we know you're sending a little texty text.
No, I'm not sending a text. I was looking up because we were in London recently, and I saw a bunch of ads. I took pictures of them. I need to pull them out
That
of
Hinge
here.
campaign really got you because I heard you chuckling every time we were on the tube.
Which one was that?
It was either London or New York. Oh, I was in New York. You weren't there. So it was for the Hinge, like the stories where the two people were talking about how they met on Hinge and their impressions of the
Yes,
first date and how different they were.
Yeah, that was probably New York, but it was it may have been London too.
Well, did
I
you
don't know. It
see
was really good. It was
You
in,
saw it.
a
It was in
subway.
London.
It was either subway or it was a tube then.
Yeah,
we
so it
were
was
on a
London.
train. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that was London. So that means you saw it too.
Yeah,
All
it was
right,
great.
I'm losing you. I can tell I'm losing you. So this has been a good episode, Michael. Thanks for making the time, and I'm glad we had a chance to chat.
Yes, absolutely.
Any other parting wisdom for the people?
We do not chat enough.
No, no, we don't. No, we don't. Our 24 hours a day of living together, working together, and traveling together is just not enough time.
Although today is a special day.
It is a special day. It is our son and our best friend's birthday. They're birthday buddies.
And our employee.
Oh, yes, also that.
Yeah, Jackson works for us. He's our
That's
son.
right. Does he? You're reminding me of that as if I had forgotten.
Mhm.
Okay, we're wrapping it up now.
All right, how do we finish? What's the big finish?
The big finish is, hey, thanks y'all for listening. We love your feedback. So if you've got thoughts, voice your concerns, you agree, disagree, we want to hear about it. Let us know. And if this is the smartest thing you ever heard, please share it.
That was very enthusiastic.
I thought it was a good finish.
All right, done.
Okay, bye.
We don't have to do a wrap up or an intro because that's kind of it, right?
I already introed it with a very special episode.
Oh, that's right. You did. All right, bye.
Goodbye.
When the day is through.